the live session. Now we have Brandon with us, and he has come to the live before also. Before two sessions, he has done with us, and here we have him in Akshobha Bhairav month, right?
I'm in Kartikeya month now.
Kartikeya, okay.
Yes.
So he's in Kartikeya month. That is almost last but two. That is after Kartikeya. There is Chinnamasta and there is Mahavishnu and the Tripura Sundari. So there are three more deities left for him. And last but third deity he is in. And how has it been so far? That is all the deities from Uchishta Ganapati till Kartikeya Subramanya, that is his own brother. Uh, Here in South, we consider Kartikeya as elder brother of Ganapati, and in some parts of India, he's considered the younger brother of Ganapati. So, how has it been from the smaller brother, that is Ganapati, till the bigger brother Kartikeya? The experience of connecting with the deities you have been through, um, Krishna, Kali, Bhairava, the two types of Bhairava, that is Batuk Bhairava and Akshobha Bhairava. What are the differences between the two? And also, uh, which is your favorite deity among the all the deities that you have gone through? Yeah,
Yeah, so starting with Kartikeya and Ganesha, what kind of sticks out is they're both sons of Shiva,
mm,
and in that case, Ganesha took kind of the easy route of recognizing his parents immediately, and Kartikeya kind of took more of the route of going through and, you know, when it was what was their whole challenge that they were trying to do? It was that they were trying to race around the world, right?
correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the competition. Yeah.
Yeah, and so then Kartikeya kinda took more of the methodical approach, and so for me, it was kinda big because, trying to view the deities as my parents is completely new to me because I grew up without a religion, and it wasn't until, it was actually around the time you had your awakening in 2023, I believe. It was
Mm,
around that time when there were 3 months I was praying to Christ, and then after, those 3 months praying to Christ for specifically just the truth, that's what I was praying for, nothing else, and of course, things like prayers for my loved ones. Um, and it wasn't until that point that I started to understand the deities, because that was the one point that I was at when I was like, if I want to continue learning about this path, it feels like this is what's next. But that recognition was tough for me because it
mm,
felt so foreign. But that's what I can say is now going through the whole process, going up to Kartikeya month, I can see and I can understand what all that means, and like I can understand how these chakras relate to our own system, and also it's a reflection of these higher beings and the beings that exist at the point of creation. Um, yeah, Uchista Ganapati completely roasted me. There were a lot of things that were like dark truths or like truths that like I was maybe leaving underneath the surface that came out during that month. So he absolutely roasted me. Um and like there was one thing that reminded me that was so funny at Uchi Saganabati. Um I was at a resort and it was the last day that I was there and some girl asked me to dance, but I was too, oh no, I don't dance. I don't dance. But somebody then kind of roasted me on the side and that egged me on. And I'm like, who do I think I am? I'm trying to say I'm this fearless person, but I'm too afraid to dance. So Jusagana P roasted me. Um, and Tripura Bhairavi was amazing because that helped me connect with that desire to eat, like why I'm here, why I'm back, because that's always kind of like survivability. If you didn't want to be here, you wouldn't eat, but something is always there driving you to want to eat, want to consume, and want to continue being here, continue being human. And so that kind of really got deep down into
mm,
meaning of purpose in that month. Batuk Berdova was wonderful. It really brought me to a point where I did kind of cut out a lot of or old relationships kind of fell away naturally.
mm,
Um, and it was kind of seeing um, uh, Lot of things happened. That's when I had a huge awakening as well, and I basically kind of started to see, um, the whole purpose for why I was doing Sadhana in the first place, and I was filled with more of a purpose as well,
Mm,
after that Sadhana period. Um, Trying to think about, I could go through all of them and talk about all of them if you'd like,
mm,
but kind of focusing on my favorites, jumping up to, like, Krishna month was a changing month for me. I was
mm,
able to, follow my heart, follow my passion. I was able to act in a short film,
mm,
um, and the mantra learning that month was super helpful because I had to memorize a bunch of lines, and this was a super long mantra that we had to memorize,
mm,
so it was super helpful learning that as well. Um Going on even to different months like, Baglamukhi month was super, important to me. I was doing a sales job at the time, and the first month that I had started, I was doing Dhumavati month, and so I was a bit
mm,
kinda depressed even, in the feelings of Dhumavati being that energy of, depression connected to the loved ones that we have lost or who are no longer with us. And Baglamukhi month kind of changed that. When I was in my sales position, I wasn't receiving any like negative conversations. I was having good
mm,
conversations with everybody because I was just finding the right way to approach my speech when I was getting on the phone with these people. And a lot of them, like with the company I was on, they did not want to be hearing any calls. So I was like, this is amazing. I'm going like a full like month and a half with no negative sales calls. Bear of the month, I ended up realizing I wanted to, use my speech for my own reasons and not use all my speech for the purpose of sales and making money. But it was really important for me to experience that sales job because I was experiencing kind of more of my shadow self and more darker truths. And it was kind of like that bear of a month that I really kind of felt that like dealing with the shadow self, but also mastering the shadow self, because if you can become master of both your light and your dark side, then you are basically master of the universe, of the yin and yang and the positive and negative forces. um and it was funny that month too, because I know in your Bhairava video you mentioned Akshobhya Bhairava video, you
mm,
mentioned that um that there was like this tug of war game that you were seeing between the Devatas and the the Suras or any whatever it was, and it was just funny because I had literally went to a field day event, that month while I was doing Akshobhya Bhairava, and it was the first time I'd seen a game of tug
mm,
of war, and it was just kinda reminding me of that. And I had a bit of a fall while I was at that event too. I ended up, spraining my ankle, but I kinda dived back into doing, like, yoga asanas and all that,
mm,
and, I was able to get my foot back to normal within a few weeks. I healed really quickly. I was chanting the Uchista Ganapati and Tripura Bhairavi mantra,
mm,
where like the first day I couldn't even walk on it. It was that bad. And then I was able to, the swelling went down. I was able to walk on it. And now I'm back to a point where to kind of get back into shape after that fall, I
mm,
went and joined swimming again. And with
mm,
the, all thanks to Panchamukha Hanuman and Varuna for supplying the water. I'm like
mm,
already back to my high school times, which are my best times. And like with swimming, it's supposed to be hard to get back into shape, but I just feel like um, a huge part of what I was missing before was the mental state and being in
mm,
control of my body, being in control of my emotions and several different
mm,
aspects of myself. That now I feel like I could be an even better athlete just based upon that fact alone, based upon the
mm,
meditation, and now this new connection that I have with the causal plane deities.
mm. Then how is your cat?
My cat, he's doing really good right now. He's just been like here this entire time, like cuddling.
Uh,
So he's in a good mood today. So that's good.
uh, what's his name?
His name is Atum, and so it's the same as the Egyptian god Atum. And it's funny because I didn't know this until I was in Alabama that Atum is similar to kind of like there's comparisons to him being like the Egyptian form of Shiva or the
Mm,
Egyptian interpretation of Shiva.
mm. Oh, can you close up on him?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me see.
Atum, like what is the spelling?
Atum.
Atum, Atum. Atum, Atum. Like, how do you call him?
Atum. I mean, some people just call him like Atum because that's how it looks like it's pronounced. So he'll
Mm.
respond to both. But yeah, Atum is
Oh.
like the Egyptian pronunciation, but like Atum is kind of like what my parents call him. I'm like, that's close
Oh.
enough. Um, but
So
yeah,
does he know his name? Like, does he know that he's Atum?
not really. Like he always responds when you talk to him. If I want to get his attention, he'll always like respond to me. But if I say Atum, he's not gonna respond to it. I don't think.
Can you show whether he's gonna respond? Like, call him and respond.
Where is he? Hey, hey. Well, he's just always so friendly and around. Atum, Atum, Atum.
Oh yeah, he's singing. Yeah, very very fluffy cat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's very. I get hair all over like all the clothes I wear, so I have to be careful.
uh, so no, nobody in the family has cat allergy and all.
No, 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 not that I know of. It's just me at this apartment. But no, my parents, they're both good with cats.
Oh, so what do you feed the cat?
Yeah, I feed him. There's like dry food, but then for like the wet food, there's like I try to
Mm.
like a lot of the stuff they'll put a bunch of like crap in there, so it's just like only tuna or just chicken and like chicken broth. They're like come in
Oh,
small cans. And every
oh,
time that I make like tuna for myself or chicken for myself that comes in a can, I always have to give him the food first because otherwise he'll come up and think it's for him. And I'm like, no, 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 you can't eat my food.
oh. And so which month deity made the cat closer to you?
Yeah, actually um it was like Dumavati month that it was. I don't know, maybe he's sad, maybe I think he got taken from his mother or something too early. So it was Dumavati month, and it was also kind of the fact that you mentioned that like in Dumavati month, like that energy can kind of stick around in your house. And I think my cat
Mm,
kind of got some of that because he was very like he missed me so much whenever I'd come home. So it was
mm.
definitely the Dumavati month that got me closer.
Oh, oh. Yeah. So which breed is he?
He's just a mixed breed, like
Mix.
um they don't really have a name, like mixed short hair or medium hair. He doesn't
Yeah.
have a it's a mix of something.
Yeah. But very cute.
Thank
I Atum. Yeah, Atum. Yeah, again, we'll chant Drishti Ganapati mantra so that no evil eye falls on him.
you.
Vande, yeah, Vande Drishti Ganesham Tam Drishtidosh Nivarakam Sarvabhishtabudam Devam Sarvamangalakarkam Drishtidosh Nivarakam Sarvasiddhi Pradayakam Bhakti Mukti Karakam Namami Tam Vinayakam. Any evil eye, if fallen on Atum, please remove it. Drishti Ganapati. So Drishti Ganapati is the Ganapati who is invoked for removing any kind of what like there are some people who get jealous and envy, and they uh, think bad for the person or animal, which that is why Drishti
Yeah.
Ganapati is chanted. It works for all the scenarios. It may be related to health, wealth, or any kind of scenario. If you are doing good in life, you have to always chant Drishti Ganapati. Otherwise, that evil eye can fall anytime. That is the envious or the jealous minded consciousness. Yeah. I have already initiated in one of the video, that is last year, Drishti Ganapati mantra.
I'm gonna
So
have to listen to that. So something interesting, like when I worked for Disney for a little bit, Disney World, and somebody mentioned to me, he like mentioned to me about Evil Eye, and that was the first time I ever heard it before. And it kind of looking back on it, I realized that to an extent, like there were times where I would really like I think something bad about someone, something would happen, and when I caught myself, I'm like I have to be very careful with this, because Yeah, it just started to become, like, certain people in my life that I had jealousy towards, bad things would then happen, and I'm like, "I wanna step away from this because can that like, how do you stop if you think yourself might have an evil eye, like, what do you do? Do I just chant the mantra, protect myself from others?"
Correct. Yeah, like last year, I guess I when I was in the US, I initiated people with Drishti Ganapati mantra. It's just a mantra, and what you have to do is you have to chant it 21 times. So if it is like a very uh, strong eye that has fallen on you, 21, either it is 21 or 108 times, so anything works. And what will happen is uh, whatever dosha or whatever jealousy that has been fallen on you will be removed. Otherwise what will happen is the universe works in such a way that whoever is jealous of you, uh, all the consciousness, right, it will force your dream, that is your the way you see the dream will start getting manipulated, because so many people will start getting jealous, and your dream will be changed. That is, everyone are dreaming right now, but
Mhm,
if let's say if there are like 10 people who are thinking bad for you, the time that it works, that is the dream will start getting manipulated, and it will work in the favor of those 10 people who want your dream to be spoiled. So like that. So that's why what Drishti Ganapati does is it's like a cheat code where no amount of uh, envy or jealousy works, because it will create a one big shield around you, like a
mhm,
yellow protective shield around you, and it will not allow your dream to be manipulated by other consciousness.
mhm. And I think too, it also works the opposite way as well. When then you pray for others, good things can happen. I think a lot
Yeah,
of times, like even with politics, people think that we're helpless in the world, but we're really not. If you pray for someone and you pray with true devotion, you can have an impact, positive impact as well.
true.
That's what I want to focus on. The evil eye stuff is bad, but
Mm,
yeah, that's well said.
mm, true. Yeah, like if you want some politician to win in a election, you can pray such that he wins and does good for the society. Yeah.
And that has, like, a bigger impact than just a vote too, because you 'cause you're praying and depending on your devotion and connection as well, you can have
Mm,
direct impacts on things in the world, even, like, wars that
mm,
are happening. It takes a larger scale to stop something like that, but, um, more people that meditate, the more peaceful we all become.
true. The more you meditate, right, the more manipulative skills you have. Like in this grand scale of dreams, that is, this is actually Vishnu's dream. That is, the causal being who is dreaming is keeping the universe stable. Wait. Yeah. So the causal being who is keeping the universe stable, right? He is keeping everyone's dream intact. That is, he's not letting us pop out of the dream, nor uh, like manipulate the dream. That is, we have only a certain degree of manipulation. We don't have full control over the dream, that because it is his dream, not our dream. So that is why we don't have so many powers. But if you meditate enough, that is, if you do sadhana, what will happen is you will get the power to manipulate this dream. The slowly you will become as powerful as the causal being itself. That is, you will become as powerful as the Garbhodaksha Vishnu. But for that, it will require many, like thousands of years of sadhana to become like a Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So, first initial stage, right, when a human becomes astral being, he will have little power over the dream. That is, he'll be able to something called Ashtasiddhis will get unlocked. So, Ashtasiddhis is basically like how Hanuman used to become small, big, lift mountains, uh, basically invincible. Also invisible. You can become invisible. You can. There are many types of siddhis, and these siddhis will get unlocked as you do sadhana. But the final goal is nirvikalpa samadhi itself. That is, if you want to go to the truth, instead of manipulating the dream, then you can just focus on the silence. But for focusing on the silence, you can use bija also. That is, without bija, it is a little bit difficult to focus on the silence. That is, because the thoughts, right? Mother Nature will be constantly pumping thoughts in your mind, and you'll be doing your responsibilities continuously. So to stop the thought processes, you will require the uh, that chanting of bijas. So when you chant bijas slowly, the thoughts will stop pumping in your mind. Then you'll be easily be able to focus on samadhi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the whole disconnect too from yourself being just this self just being one character because now the thoughts and you're able to disconnect more. I did see one question ask about it asked Guru how to let go of departed loved ones.
Wait a
Of
minute.
the-
Mm, interesting.
I would say the Doomavati mantra, but I'll let you answer.
Uh, I do not- yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Can you continue? Some guy was spamming.
You're good. You're good. Um, let's see. Yeah, there's just the one question that asked about how to deal with a departed loved one and Doomavati mantra. Like the Doomavati mantra, or just connecting with Doomavati, like that's the aspect of love that is a
Mm,
depressive form of love because that's just to show that love still exists. If that person is gone, it's and you miss them, you can recognize that that's because that love for them still exists. It's not something negative. It's that love for them still exists. And so if you can say, "Oh, internalize that," that's and a good thing. Um,
mm,
transforming that grief into love.
mm. Sure. Yeah. Love, love, right? It is not a bad thing only. That is, if you miss someone, if you miss someone who died, or who is not there near you, it is not a bad thing. That is, missing someone is very good, because it is something which is not animalistic. That is, all the lower three chakras, right? Like Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura are selfish in nature. That is, it is more focused on survival. That is, like the food, for example, food. You try to ensure that you have food before others. So that is Muladhara energy. That is surviving, trying to survive, and you'll ensure that you get the sexual release, or you get the money, fame, power. So all the lower three chakras are selfish in nature. Only after you cross Manipura, that is when you enter the Anahata, the real selflessness, the real love kicks in. That is, it tells the Anahata tells the Muladhara, don't eat food by yourself, share it with others. And when it comes to Swadhisthana, Anahata tells, first give pleasure to your partner than for yourself. Then when it comes to Manipura, it tells Manipura that share your wealth, share your fame, share your power to others, who help the poor. So that is what Anahata tells. So when Kundalini reaches Anahata, the lower three chakras start becoming divine. Until
Yeah,
then, the lower three chakras are very selfish. For example, like when it comes to reptiles, uh, only they are operating only on the lower three chakras, the reptiles. So if you observe the cold blooded animals, they don't care about others. That is, they just care about their survival, their hunger, their sexual tension, their power. They don't care about others. That's why, after the dinosaurs died, the Anahata Chakra started getting formation. That is,
Makes
mammals,
sense.
that is, warm-blooded animals started to exist. So that is when Anahata first came into the picture of Mother Earth. So once the mammals came, once we stopped laying eggs, once we started giving offspring, uh, like in the live form, that is not through eggs. That time, that is when our love started. When the mother started loving the child, when the mother started loving the offspring, and the love continued, and it is still there. So missing someone is not bad. It shows that your anahata is working fine, and it is not in the lower three chakras. Yeah. Yeah, Brandon. So what do you have to say about Hollywood and how it
Yeah.
is correlated with your sadhana?
Yeah, absolutely. So, honestly, before Sadhana, I had kind
Mm,
of a huge distrust for Hollywood and celebrities and all that because I kind of
mm,
came in more of a mindset for politically here in the United States, like it's kind of seen, oh, Hollywood is like liberal on the left,
mm,
Republicans are kind of conservatives are on the right, and they're not all for Hollywood and all this. So that was
mm,
kind of my mindset before Sadhana, and it wasn't really until I kind of stepped into Uchista Ganapati,
mm,
got roasted, kind of realized that a lot of the time that jealousy and that hatred people have towards celebrities is really more a lot of times is a jealousy because these celebrities have something that that one person doesn't want. So
mm,
if an individual is causing like instability in you, it's only time to reflect, why is that making me feel uncomfortable? um but the more that I started to there was a friend that I met when I was at Disney. He's from Egypt, and he kind of mentioned to me, he's like, "Hey, well, Disney's kind of like, if you've seen their recent stuff, they're kind of like onto something." So I started to come to realize that, yeah, Disney and Marvel, they're slowly trying to wake people up to higher concepts with Ant-Man Quantumania, showing the idea of Ant-Man shrinking down into a dimension lower, like smaller than ours, and you can see that world is, has more conflict even than this world. Um, I think they're trying to open up people to these larger concepts. When before I kind of had all this, hysteria behind it, I think that Hollywood is an effort trying to wake people up. Not, of course, everyone. Hollywood is a vast term, but there are definitely producers out there and filmmakers out there that have it in their heart to awaken the world through art instead of just speaking the knowledge outright. They're creating these dramas and they're creating these stories to basically
mm,
wake us up directly. So there are good forces out there. I thought the world was all doom and gloom and this and that, but no, there definitely are good forces out there. And so I see like the celebrities as kind of, maybe not all of them, but a good amount of them are there because they think, they got to a point where they're like, I can do anything. And if I can do anything, what would that be? What's my dream? What's my aspiration? They fall into love with something like film. And then they decide that they want to, that's, through writing scripts or producing movies
mm,
or through acting in film, um, try to slowly bring these concepts to the world. And an example I can use recently and most very popular right now too is the season, spoiler alert for anybody who watches Stranger Things, but there was a character that hadn't been in the show for, you saw her in one episode for like 2 3 seasons later, she now reappears, comes back, and happens to be, the character's name is Kali. And the whole idea there is this is very good for the collective consciousness that on New Year's, going into New Year's Day, everyone's eyes are going to be on this one show, and there's this new lead heroine character named Kali, which is very good for, again, just the collective consciousness, because that name Kali that's what's important. The name is what's important, and the more people that hear that name, the better things go. And even with Disney, at Disney World, Animal Kingdom, I didn't know this before because I never made the connection before. There's a ride there called Kali River Rapids, and it's based off of the goddess Kali. And the whole ride has to deal with deforestation and destruction, and kind of,
mm,
the fact Kali is this mother goddess and this is Mother Earth. Um, and the funny thing is I have a very fond memory of when I was younger. I rode that ride exactly 10 times with my family. And I'm like, that's funny because Kali has her 10 forms. And so a lot of the time during my sadhana, especially during Matangi month, I was just seeing that this wasn't something random, me just stumbling upon Hinduism. It was something that was destined to be my entire life. There were so many things that brought me to this point. And like one thing that kind of um, pushed me away from that was like, well, I'm American, and I look a different way, and how am I spiritual? I didn't know any of this and stuff beforehand, and really the true reflection of that is it doesn't matter where you were born or who you are, because you could have had a life where you were a king in the past life. I look around at people and I just wonder. I'm like, they could have been a king. They could, maybe in a future life they become a god. Like, who knows? So you just treat everybody with respect because you don't know who they were in a different life. Maybe this is just one expression of that person's self that
mm,
you're seeing. Um, so yeah, that was a bunch, but I do think genuinely that the crux of it is that there are very good people in Hollywood that want to awaken the world through movies, and that's my ultimate dream is to hopefully be able to do the same one day.
mm. Like Christopher Nolan.
hmm Is
Yeah,
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 both like what's that one film? Like Interstellar?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched Shutter Island? Shutter Island.
I've seen Shutter Island, yeah. That one is that is a wild movie. Very wild
Yeah.
movie.
Mm. Like we still don't know the answer, right? Like whether it is a mental prison or uh, whether it is torturing. Like it is used for torture.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting too. They're even in Stranger Things, they're diving into that same kind of concept of an illusionary world. And I won't spoil that whole show. But yeah, Shutter Island was I've seen that.
Mm.
It was creepy, that whole twist ending and everything. Um Mr. Robot was similar too in that aspect. Have you seen that?
Oh no, Mr. Robot, no. And
That was
Inception is similar, no? Like
yes, yes. Mr. Robot, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it basically has like an ending that is like what the idea of like, I can't spoil it, but it's just like the recognition that this is all happening in his head. So it's one of those types of spins on it. And so I just think it's interesting because you can kind of see that is like kind of and a lot of TV shows, they'll kind of do that to you in the end. Oh, it was all in the character's mind in the end. And I'm like, okay, I see where they're going with that. They're really trying to tell people the truth with this one. Like, because at the end of the day, we're all in Vishnu's minds.
yeah. So in Black Mirror also, right? There is one episode where one guy goes inside the game. Like it was all that game was going inside his mind.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've seen some of Black Mirror. I haven't seen all of them. It's like
Mm,
spotty, but I love that that's happening because I felt so hopeless before. Like I was filled with
mm,
like, okay, there's no where are all the good people at? And they are out there because especially now, like with politics faltering away, like my idea of politics and having like somebody go in and save the day there is kind of falling away. So I'm like, I think through art and through love,
mm,
that's the best expression for
mm.
people trying to do that. And of course there's also like Hollywood films that are very heavily occult as well, which is interesting now looking back in after like learning these
Mm.
concepts and being like, it's cool.
Yeah. So which movie sect you want to be a part of?
Yeah, like I say Disney because like you know I'm kind of seeing like in the MCU like specifically, and we kind of like if people play Marvel Rivals, they had this like zombie mode recently, and Scarlet Witch was like this zombie boss that you had to fight. But it just kind of felt like we're in the age of Kali. So when I see Scarlet Witch, I'm thinking Kali because she's like this. She kind of has the same powers of manipulating reality and all of that. And so that's kind of like what I would want to do. Like if it was wide open, I'd want to play because they're casting they're gonna end up casting one of her sons or something for the next MCU. And since I see her as Kali, I'm like, oh, naturally, I would love to play in the MCU and do that role because Kali seeing her as the Divine Mother. That's my goal because I'm growing up, I loved superheroes and all that. I've never read a comic book, but I like loved watching all the TV shows and all that, and I would like read up on all their like biographies on Wikipedia, and so I knew everything about comic books growing up.
Mm,
And going upon that, I always thought that that was meaningless information in my mind. That I had all these things about superheroes and these cosmic beings
mm,
and all these stories in my mind, and it wasn't until Batuk Berva month, the month that I felt
mm,
like was like inner child exploration month, where I realized that none of that was a waste. Like it was actually very, very helpful for me to understand and make all these connections to the Hindu deities and how if I can relate to a fictional character like Batman, then I can relate to um, a figure like Bhairava as well, one that is
mm,
visualized within the mind and not
mm,
actually here to touch.
mm. True. So, yeah, one question is there from that time. How to protect our energy from stealing by a negative entity while doing our mantra sadhana? So, I have already initiated one kavacham in YouTube, that is Kalika Kavacham. So, you can chant any kavacham like Narasimha Kavacham, Kalika Kavacham, or Hanuman Chalisa, or Ramaraksha Sruta. Anything works to protect you. So, try all that, and your energies will be protected. And is that a nodding yes or no? So the thing is, sometimes I nod like this. I rarely nod like this, I guess, and sometimes like this also. So both are yes. Like all my nodding is just like acknowledging the speaker. So it's yes itself. It's just acknowledging. It's not like yes or no. It's more like acknowledging. Yeah, yeah, like that. Yeah, weird. I have a weird kind of nodding. Uh,
No, it's the in India this means it's like a nod, but in US this means no. So that's what
yeah,
I noticed. And so I had like seen that before that both of these nods mean yes. And so
yeah,
that's how I get it. But this usually means no. So sometimes I'm like, I'm
yeah.
saying something wrong. um Somebody
Mm-hmm,
said Disney is super dark. Why not go and see that's the thing. I thought Disney was super dark and that but that's the thing is these are individuals, people. This is not like evil doesn't it's not like an organization itself can just be evil. There are individuals running it, individual people running it. And I'm in a point too where I don't feel like I'll ever be in a position where people will be able to take advantage of my vulnerabilities because of the sadhana that I'm doing. Because if I can be independent on my own, happy on my own, not relying on others, then I don't have to give in to the forms of control of, the lower three chakras. But that's kind of my thing is, yeah, if it's going to be something that prevents me from speaking and expressing myself, then I'd have my worries and concerns about it. But I really think that Disney is an organization that is trying to bring stories to children to enlighten them and actually have good meaning behind them. Like the recent Disney movie Elio was very interesting. It's about this little boy who doesn't feel like he fits in here on Earth and he wants nothing more than to be abducted by aliens. So he's has this disconnect that he feels he belongs in a higher place, and he gets bullied by his friends to a point that he leaves his the aliens come, he leaves his body and goes and visits with the aliens, and then they kind of show, oh well, his life is still continuing on Earth, and he's acting more normal, not talking about aliens as much, while he's now having this experience in this higher basically dimension with these um, creatures that are called they call them interdimensional creatures. in the film. And so, like, that concept alone, if a kid sees that nowadays and
Mm,
then kind of carries along, like, it was very much a good message, and in the end, it was he didn't want to go up here with the aliens because his place was here on Earth to, basically teach all that he saw up there, he wanted to come back down and
mm,
teach the world. So, to me, that's the way I took it, and it felt very similar to, like, the idea of, wanting transcendence, but also having love for everyone else, realizing that they're
mm,
just a part of yourself as well.
mm,
And yeah, so that's why I say about Disney is I think that they are trying. I think it's similar to for another reference, in Monsters Inc., where the monsters used to want to scare the children because they wanted their energy, and then they realized that making the children laugh and happiness was actually a better way to then,
mm.
channel and feel into that energy. So, yeah, I think I do. For the longest time, I thought maybe they were like evil and all that, but no, I think they're really trying for the kids.
Yeah, that can you mention the name of the movie again?
It's Elio, ELIO.
ELI. Okay, so it recently released, is it?
Yeah, just got on Disney Plus. So it released this summer.
Mm.
But yeah, they even have a scene where the first character he sees basically says, "Hey, you can ask me any question," and says, "I'm coming to you in this form because you wouldn't be able to understand my real form, so I take the simple form that you can understand." And I was like,
Oh,
"Okay,
great.
that's pretty deep, spot on what they're trying to do there." So I also think what do we
Mm.
have? Avatar, that it's a movie about blue aliens. We had Lilo and Stitch released this year that was about a blue alien that came to Earth. And then we have Superman that released this year that's about a blue alien that wears all blue and he comes to Earth. There have been a lot of different stories that I can name about blue
Mm.
aliens coming down to Earth. And so I'm like,
Mm.
that's very interesting to me. I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't not hate that.
yeah. Like the Western audience are like slowly uh, getting used to the Vishnu's energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Creator energy, making new
yeah,
stories.
true. And Brandon, like if you want to get selected in some MCU, right? Like I feel like some deity is calling you, like in India. So some deity wants to bless you before that, like before you get selected in some MCU or any movie industry. I feel like some Devi wants to bless you. So like it may be, I don't know where exactly, but I feel like somewhere in maybe Bengal or Assam or maybe in Karnataka itself, some Devi related to arts like Matangi or Madurai Meenakshi or maybe Kamakya herself, Kamakya or Kali, Dakshina Kali in Bengal. So some deity is calling you, and once you visit that temple and get her blessing, then you can go ahead with. So while asking anything, you have to ask for her grace for entering the MCU industry, and once she gives, like you'll be easily be able to audition for that, and you can enter and become your favorite character, whoever it is. Yeah.
I want to visit India. I have no way of doing that until I, get a job and save up
Mm,
more money. I absolutely want to, and I that's the thing. I basically it was actually the same agent that picked up that one film that I did and the one short film I did. The same exact agent that picked up the co-star I met with just a couple weeks back, and I heard back like just hey they have interest, wanted to see my headshot and resume, and that's the thing. In the case I get an acting agent, of course I'm going to try to come to India when I can. I financially right now like
mm, mm,
being an actor would
mm.
bring in those finances so then I can go to India quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did feel when I went to Nepal though, I rung the bell with Kali, and that was definitely a moment where I received a blessing.
Mm,
But I want to come back. India seems like a great place. I've never been,
mm,
and truly, I don't know. Like my real connection has been with the deities, so I don't know too much about India itself. I
mm,
know like more about than the average person, but admittedly, so it's mainly been the deities that have drawn me there.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I do want to go visit, and I want to visit you at some point.
mm.
Um, but I don't know when that'll be.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, there is another movie called Jadoo. Like it's about not Jadoo. What is that? Koi Mil Gaya or something. Koi Mil Gaya and Christian. So it's about a blue alien.
Another
Yeah,
Blue Alien movie. Yeah, I like those
yeah,
ones. Um, I think it's funny too, the whole stigma with like in the US at least it is that cows get abducted by aliens and they're in the cornfields and they like go to the farms. It's like, oh, the aliens must love milk. We have good milk here. Um, yeah. What else? Um, would you want to talk about politics at all or just what's going on in the world?
yeah, yeah. Sure. What parallels have you found about politics and the deities? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely Baglamukhi sticks out when it comes to politics. Um, yeah, so what I really wanted to focus on is like I started to kind of realize within the months, especially like Matangi month, learning a lot of truths um, with how things work. It's it seems like if we focus in on US politics and everything that's happening, because now, the US is really trying to take its stance as being the sole control like over the world and sole kind of influence, which like through all of Trump's new policies and all the changes that he's making. What I really wanted to focus on though is that there's just a concern because like Donald J. Trump is in office for 3 years and he's doing a lot of things that have long-term impacts.
Mm,
All the tariffs and all things that he does, if somebody just reverses that, then it doesn't actually make sense. So it's very much like a long-term type of plan. Um, my whole thing is not any worry or concern with Trump. A lot of people they think that, attributing him to being on some list is what's going to take him down. Like I don't fear Trump whatsoever. Like the biggest thing that's going on right now is again, if you step back and want to take a look at things from a longer grand scheme of things, the current vice president that we have now, he's very connected into Palantir, and Palantir is a company that basically is doing all the what's going on with Israel and Gaza. Palantir is the automation company that automates those strikes using AI. So we're fighting wars right now using AI, and Palantir is the company behind that. And Palantir, one of their basically their candidate is JD Vance. Um, the problem with this is Palantir is also the company that is going to be kind of like if you've ever seen Terminator, James Cameron's Terminator. It's kind of that dystopian type of future type of company. Something that's incredibly interesting is that when Elon Musk was working close with President Trump, they went to Saudi Arabia together and they made a deal, multi-billion-dollar deal for them to basically be the first people to have AI robots, AI humanoid bots. Like that's the Saudi Arabia is going to be the first country. Um, Elon Musk was there, of course, because it's going to be his Tesla bots. And what's very interesting is Trump and Elon, when they were close together in the White House, they had a separation. And the next time that they're seen close together is the time that the Saudi prince is in the United States meeting with Trump, and then Elon Musk is back into the ring of things. And so to me, it's like when we look at things with duality, this is not necessarily any of these things are good or bad. It's just unfortunate because it seems like everybody's has kind of I would say I have this idea in my mind that there's going to be a future where AI takes over control, and we have kind of like this dystopian future, and we're definitely headed in that direction. because these investments have already taken place. Like once multi-billion-dollar investments take place, things are already set into motion. Um, of course, artificial intelligence is non-dual, so it's all up to what is done with that technology going forward. The worry and concern is we enter into um, a state where there's no coming back once you start implementing AI infrastructure, which they're doing in the United States. There's no going back. And the thing that's very interesting about the AI infrastructure project in the United States is it's called Project Stargate. And Project Stargate, um, what a Stargate is, they made a TV show about it. But a Stargate is basically a portal to a different time and a different place. So the TV show took viewers to Egypt in the first series, and then it took them to Atlantis in the second series. So, and they're bringing that show back. It's like a show from the 2000s. They're bringing that back now in a few years. Um, so I just think it's very interesting because multi-billions of dollars have been invested into AI infrastructure here in the US, and we'll have no reversal from that. But nobody, for the most part, the opposition to the president of the United States, nobody focuses on that. They're focused in on things about, his name being written on a list, whether or not. I know you don't like politics, but I wanted to be able to share that. So
No, it's interesting. Like the way the AI is being used for war, and how it can take over humans if not monitored properly. So, what do you think? What is going to happen according to you?
yeah, so according to me, like what I project is basically um, the kind of like the main crux of it too is like written biblically is with Israel and kind of taking back Jerusalem and the Holy Land. What we're seeing right now is this is Israel, this is Gaza, Lebanon is north of Gaza. This hasn't caught the U.S. news yet, but they're already been attacking Lebanon, so it's kind of a trying to kind of turn over. So kind of with that, this whole end of times and this and that, it's
Mm.
to say that there might come a point where there's, things seem helpless and all seems lost, but God always has a plan. God, it's all in God's plan. So at any point when things get really bad, like that's when, we have blue aliens and things like that to hopefully um, be there for us. But at the same time, it's not about hoping and praying for a blue alien to come save you, but it's about you finding your own inner blue alien and becoming the hero and the savior of your own journey. Because I think at the end of the day, any sort of like doomsday clock would easily be reset just with people focusing on meditation, going within, dissolving the illusions of this world. And that's what I'm focused on doing because if people want to be doom and gloom about end of times, it's like, okay, we'll just focus on what you can do now, because no one, future is never certain. Um, but in any case, it would just kind of be a shift towards the people who are attached to these lower chakra desires will get them immediately fulfilled um, through a slow adoption of like VR headsets. The fact that Facebook changed their name to Metaverse, and all this. A company like Facebook doesn't change the name to Meta unless they're really going for something. So I think those headsets are kind of a way to, instead of meditating and getting into a state where you're creating and imagining on your own, something like a VR headset, you would put that on and it would disconnect you from this world, bring you to then a virtualized one where in that place, who has full control, right? God does not have full control over the simulated universe. It's more of a disconnect. It's more Maya on top of Maya. So my biggest fear is that when people get attached more to these virtual worlds and virtual spaces, and it's already happening today with seeing people on their phones all the time and seeing people glued to their televisions, and I'm guilty for that as well. I just saying how it is. Um, that it's disconnecting them from. It's bringing them into more of an illusion. It's like an illusion on top of an illusion. Like it's almost like this idea of a metaverse is like creating a matrix within a matrix, and that's going to make it very hard to pull people out because they're sucked into these worlds. But again, technology and all that is non-dual. So in the same effect, when I see technology being a way to enslave people, it's also a way to free people because with that VR experience, you can also have ways where people connect with the deities in a way that's more vivid and lucid, where like they can understand like what it is that they're doing and have like, hey, you can follow along with the mantra on the bottom,
Mm,
things like that. Because it can these virtual headsets can create also worlds where people can learn to heal if we can go into somebody's subconscious and project
mm,
their feelings onto a screen. You can heal people as well using this technology. So artificial intelligence is very non-dual because it can also, and that's how I see it, like if you ever um fighting fire with fire in this case is like using AI for good and using it to enlighten people, instead of saying it's all bad and not using it at all. Because yeah, there will be a lot of people that um, there's a lot of like powerful individuals I fear that will try to use AI to make it easier to control the masses and allow them to have higher influence because we're messing with things that are like beyond our comprehension right now. And I think one of the potentials is to program something like program almost like a deity into an AI
mm,
chatbots, things like that. Like we're kind of getting into the realm. Elon Musk's wife or girlfriend Grimes, who's she must know a lot because she's in with Elon. Um, she kind of worries about um, yeah, just about people kind of getting fully absorbed into these worlds. Um,
mm.
something else I was gonna say, but yeah,
Yeah, the very that horrific future for the younger generation, right? Like because they're gonna grow up with these technology right in their hand, and uh, they'll be more sucked into it because it'll be there since they're born. All this technology, and it'll be tough to come out of the Maya. Uh, who knows whether Advaita, Vedanta will exist for the younger generation. So until the younger generation have curiosity like on their own, that is uh, the curiosity for knowing the truth, only that they can escape this pull of technology. Otherwise, the pull of technology is very strong and it's hard to come out of.
yeah, and the thing too, like what keeps me at peace is knowing that if anybody ever like projects end of worlds, we have all of history and time that's still.
Mm,
I know the past doesn't exist, but you jump outside and all these lifetimes and everything exists there then in the past. Um, so things like just because, generations and things have been lost doesn't mean that they're gone forever because things can still be experienced. Time is not necessarily linear. But what do you think on that? Because everybody says Kalki 2032 and they say like things about
mm,
2040, and I don't know if this is just, this is something that's always up in the air to kind of motivate people to get to the next place. Hey, Kalki's coming, and they say that, for the past 100 years, or if we're actually genuinely getting into that type of era. Because I could almost see like if there were to be a second coming, then it would shift everything where there would be a new system and there would be a new
yeah.
like pathway for people at that point, just the same way Buddha came in and gave a new pathway and Christ came in and provided a new pathway. So I could either see that happening or maybe it's all just hype.
I think it's gonna come very close because if you observe the way the youths are more interested in spirituality nowadays, there's almost like 30% of the youth are into questioning the reality, like what is truth, and they are trying to get the answers in Vedanta. So I feel like it is coming near. Even Netflix has released Kurukshetra. So it's very unusual to for a Rahu oriented platform like Netflix to release such series. So I feel like the divine is taking over the Rahu oriented platforms like Netflix, Hotstar. Even in Disney Hotstar, there is the Legends of Hanuman, and there are many series which awakens the truth inside all of us. So I feel like the divine beings are taking over the so-called OTT platforms like Netflix, Hotstar, and Hulu, Amazon Prime. So I feel Kalki Avatar is coming near, and we never know like what the dreamer, the causal being of this universe will plan. Like he can come anytime, sooner or later. It's all about awakening the all the consciousness. The thing is, till recently, the this thing our solar system was very far from the black hole of our galaxy, and now our solar system is coming near to the black hole. So now, as it comes near, the divinity will take over the Rahu Ketu influenced what to say Rahu Ketu influenced organizations. So like Rahu is illusion creator, Ketu is detachment giver. So all these uh, organization which is creating illusion, which is creating detachment, like forceful detachment from love and all that. So these are being taken over by the divine planets like Guru, that is Jupiter, Saturn, the one who gives discipline, Mars, the one who gives masculinity, and Venus, one who gives femininity, and Mercury, the one who gives intelligence. So now it is like although all the divine planets are becoming stronger, I feel, than the illusion creating celestial bodies. And finally, the causal being will enter. That is the hero of the dream will enter, and he will awaken the mass. And finally, the universe will go back to its that Satya Yoga, where everyone are awakened, and we are just waiting for the Sadashiva state of consciousness, that is going back to the Sadashiva. So I feel like whoever is in search of truth will get the truth in few decades, and finally they will be able to experience the truth. But the problem is, whoever reaches the truth will also get another desire. That is, they'll get a desire of being with someone, being with their loved ones, having a family, having a wife, son, daughter, husband, whatever. So again, that cycle will continue. The greed for family, friends, food, sex again will start, and the planets, the solar system goes back to its Kali Yuga form. That is, it'll go far away from the black hole. The ether drops, the evolution drops, and again the lower lokas will get hold of the um, planets, and the Rahu Ketu will become stronger again, and there will be darker series. Like if you observe, there are series like you, that is YOU. Have you watched YOU?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, very dark,
Yeah.
and there is Squid Games also. That is also dark. There are many series which is very dark. Like if it is watched by the youngsters, their brains will be influenced somehow or the other, because usually it is watched in the dark. That is Netflix, Hotstar, all those dark series are like ghost movies, and they're watched in dark, and slowly the brain gets trained trained to uh, become like the hero. So for example, in you there is a hero called Joe Goldberg. So everyone will try to become like him, like like he's
Wait a
a,
second, the main character
yeah, yeah,
is you? He's evil.
yeah, yeah, like everyone will see that
Oh,
character.
I
Yeah,
see what you're
everyone,
saying. Yeah.
yeah, everyone will see him and they'll try to imbibe the qualities, because he's the hero of the, like, in the sense, what is it called, uh
The
pro-
protagonist, hero. Yeah,
protagonist. Yeah,
protagonist. Yeah.
yeah, so everyone will become, try to become like him. And so whatever, like, dark series, the people watching will try to become like them, and all these murders, serial killing will start increasing as the planets go far from the black hole. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, those are the types of content that it doesn't necessarily make sense. But at the end of the day, it could just be, you know, individuals expressing themselves, expressing parts of themselves, not always something like evil or sinister behind it. But I do think that there is, definite forces that want to slow down the awakening process and also hide away information. Um, MIA Matangi, like the singer, her name is Matangi in real life, but she was she was on a podcast kind of talking about how the Brahmins, or yeah, I think the Brahmins, or there's a class where, there's certain information that's not meant for everybody in all, situations where it's reserved for kings and rulers, because if you have information like occult practices and everyone can practice it, then you have every but single person practicing something that's only meant for a selected few. um, just the case that some of the times there is information that needs protected and guarded, like in the state of the U.S. government. If they have aliens, or if they have things like that, that information needs to be protected for
Mm,
national security reasons. The same way, sometimes there's information needs to be guarded just for the whole matrix to remain stable. Um,
mm,
but I think that. What she was saying on that podcast is it's gone way too far now. Like, it doesn't make sense today, where the information that's being kept and guarded is just way too much beyond. Like, something that sticks out to me, and um, I know, like, we do live, everything here is an illusion, but there are so many different types of like foods in the United States that people are being fed that are not good for them, that have poisons in them, and even like our water and things like that, things that they spray into the sky, like all these weird things. That's like, okay, there's clearly like forces out there that don't want people being healthy, don't want people onto truth, and want them eating foods that are fake, that and processed. So the people end up becoming like fake and
mm,
processed, as like all autonomous and acting the same. So there's definitely like, that's where it's like, huh, it's interesting, because there has to be a balance of good and evil in the universe, but sometimes it feels like we're in a place where it seems like the evil is starting to get more the upper hand. But as you were mentioning, with Kalki Avatar, he's the one that tries to then rebalance
mm,
things out. So we're in the Satya Yuga, and we're not.
mm,
One benefit of Kali Yuga, though, is less sadhana required, because there's many forces at play pitted against us, that it takes less of an effort than before. Because if you imagine Satya Yuga, where everything is much more blissful, then yes, if you want to separate yourself from the rest with sadhana, then it requires more of you know isolation up in the mountains, and much more chanting to achieve the same results.
true. Like thousands of years of tapas would be required in Satyuga, but in Kali Yuga, few months of sadhana is also very sufficient to see the deities, talk with the deities. So yeah, Brandon, before we end the live, what would you like to say to the audience?
Um, yeah, I guess one thing I wanted to share, it kind of goes to a Rajarsi Nandi video. It was one about Bhairava, and I just kind of wanted to share because there's something that came to my mind, like one of my kind of connections with Bhairava, something that kind of probably saved me while I was in college as well, is and kind of put this together recently that a lot of the times when I were to drink, people would be focused on, oh, I want to black out and realizing that why do they want to black out? Well, it's this blissful state, right, where you don't feel anything, you don't think anything, right, and you're unconscious. And so really they were chasing the Shiva state in an unhealthy manner because you're just gonna poison everything down in order to get that state instead of actually bringing that energy up or just eyes closed, learn to meditate and all that. But in the Rajesh Nandi video, he said Bhairava is that force, is that energy that takes you out of the bars. And what was really weird is my senior year, once I turned 21 and I could actually drink, is when I stopped wanting to drink. And slowly but surely, I would be in the bars and leave the bars. I'd be in the bars and I'd look around. Why am I here? This is pointless. This makes no sense. I'd go get food. I'd walk myself back home. And there was this TV show I was watching that was all about AI robots, about creation, religion, all this types of things. It was called Raised by Wolves. But I kept getting brought back to watching the show. And the show finally delved into this concept where the characters were hearing signals that were coming from this source and they were trying to find God. And the show ended, unfortunately, but the moral of that story was Bhairava was that force when I was trying to reach the Shiva state and black out. Bhairava was the force that stepped in, told me to walk home, get myself home, eat food, take care of yourself in order to protect the Dharma because of the fact that, you know, if I was brain dead, then I wouldn't be able to teach this knowledge. So Bhairava stepped into my life as a protector in that moment. And it wasn't till a year later, I was in New Mexico and I saw that video on TRS and I was like, that was it. That was that force. That was what I was trying to connect with. Um, that's what I wanted to leave everyone with. And as well, if you're doing sadhana, continue your sadhana uh, every day. The more you do it, the better it is. And try not to take gap days. There's no reason to take a gap day because then you're just like you could have had a more blissful day that day, and then you're gonna probably suffer because oh you didn't do morning sadhana. So do morning sadhana. Um, if you can at 4 a.m., do it at 4 a.m. If not, as soon as you get out of bed. And that's all. Thank you for letting me on the show. I appreciate all the time I had. Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon, for sharing your experience. It was very helpful for the audience because we saw a lot of parallels with the Marvel and all the Hollywood series and shows with the Hindu deities. So it was very good parallel that you have drawn. And also, uh, can you show us your cat before we end
Yeah.
the? Yeah.
One other thing I thought was funny too, because I was kind of looking at the I was thinking about the Hulk, how the Hulk is kind of like this version of Bruce that's from
Huh,
this other.
huh,
And it kind of made me feel that connection with Berdava, how Berdava
huh,
is a version of myself from this other planet far away in this other, you know, gamma radiation world or whatever, this different
huh.
existence. And somehow Bruce was able to take that form and bring it back here, bring it to Earth through his experiments. So I just found that story was interesting because looking back and all that I learned, it feels like life has always prepared you for the moment that you're now. And all the
Hmm.
best. Jai Mahakal.
Yeah, and also I feel like the reason you have cat is because of some Devi. That is, all the Devis like Durga, Mangala Devi, this one Rajarajeshwari, everyone, all the Devis, right? They'll have one lion or tiger sitting under them or near them. So I feel like that cat. itself shows that you are attracting a lot of Devi energy. So
I
whoever,
think, yeah.
yeah.
I think so. My cat shows me too. When I went to the shelter, he was pawing at the window, and I was like, he really wants to get out of here. Like,
Mm.
I don't blame him. So it was a very easy choice. And yeah, yeah.
So, Brandon, like some people have asked, have you found your Ishtadevata?
Yeah, I mean, I get confused with what Ishadevata means because, in a sense, there's like which deity I love the most or which one I connect with the most. Because when it comes to love, it's Matangi. When it comes to who I see myself emanating as, it's Bhairava. Um,
Mm.
but then also, I love Vishnu as well because my mind is always thinking about space and different realities and all these other things. So I would say I've just had the strongest connection with Bhairava from the start. Like
Mm.
as I explained with that story with drinking in college, felt like he's always been there to protect me. But then my true love is communication, and also what I love most about Matangi is being unafraid to speak your truth,
Mm.
despite any blowbacks from asuras or dark forces that be. That was the main thing that I love about Matangi is I appreciate her boldness and all the knowledge that she has.
Mm. Tangi, it is. Yeah, you definitely need to visit then Assam or somewhere in Tamil Nadu or Kerala for Matangi. Like there is one form of her called Madurai Meenakshi. Like she has a parrot on her, so you have to visit such temples. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. So yeah. Thanks Brandon for joining this live, and we will meet in some other live session maybe after you complete the 18 month sadhana, and we will get more updates on your advancement in the industry, movie industry, or something. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Mm.
Either way, like it feels like a calling. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it because to me it
Mm.
seems, acting is something that's so far out there. So I want to just have a normal job, but literally I will only act if it's a calling and if it's
Mm.
for a higher purpose. I literally do not care about like I'm fine with just a chill life because there's so much more after this. So I don't want to
Mm.
get myself my hands stuck in the honey jar where I'm too tied up in karma. But if there's a way where it feels right and it's a calling, then 100%. Because I truly only want to act for those reasons, like I said, like
Mm.
sharing the dharma. Like money is something that falls away after this lifetime, so it's nothing
Mm.
that I'm chasing.
Truly. Yeah. So thanks everyone for joining this live, and we'll meet in the next whiteboard series. And also check out Brandon's channel. Can you tell your channel name?
Yes, my channel is The Philosopher's Throne. There's two of them. Mine is the one that has like there's a red elephant, Ganesha, and then there's a blue donkey just to represent the yin and yang of how the donkey and the elephant represent the Republican and Democratic Party, and the yin and yang of if we can find a way to meet in the middle, everybody wants the same type of thing.
Mm.
The main reason why I did that is I think the it's an illusion that everybody is disagrees with each other. 'Cause at the end of the day, we all have
Mm.
common. Um, we all want the same type of thing. Um, but yeah, that's my channel, The Philosopher's Throne. Subscribe if you like. I might also be making an additional channel after that as well to kind of split up how I'd like to talk about politics and spirituality. I don't know if the
Mm.
two really go together, so I kind of don't know if I want to mix the two because some people might, enjoy my spiritual content, but might not enjoy listening to the more like political, not really political. I just like talking about current events and
Mm.
have my own piece on them. So I don't like talking about like politics to me is like senator and like uh judiciary and House of Representatives. And I don't know anything about that. I just like to see what's happening in the world.
Mm. Got it.
Cool.
Yeah, check out his channel, Philosopher's Throne, where he talks about politics and the parallels of how the Hollywood is with the Vedic deities. So check out his channel, and also thank you everyone. We'll meet for the next whiteboard series on the Sunday evening. And Jai Mahakal.
Jim Alco.